Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to go ahead and call this school board meeting to order. I'd like to welcome all of you. We'd like to start with 1.1, which is the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. Everyone please stand. Mr. Lejeune, would you lead us in the pledge?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before I go to superintendent's comments, I ask, and I hope I get this right, Police Officer Jolivet, please keep him and his family in your prayers. His life taken, protecting all of us. And he was part of the SRO program. So for Officer Jolivet and his family, we send you our prayers and thoughts. Mr. Superintendent, your opening comments?
Thank you, President. First of all, I'm going to continue with that same sentiment. Officer Jolivet was not only a person of our community, but also was a part of our school system as an SRO some years ago. More importantly, he served as security officers at different activities and after school activities that we do have. So again, as our president has stated, let's keep the family. Let's keep the kids that he has left behind in our prayers because we do want to continue to support, wherever we can. So again, on behalf of myself and our entire team, we will do what we have to make sure that we support whatever endeavor moving forward. Second thing that I'd like to state on a positive note is that today was a great day for all of our educators. Our teachers are back. We have over 2,000 teachers that were doing professional development. I went through 8 different school sites. I left after the KPEL segment this morning on the radio, and at 8:30 I just returned to the office at 4:40 with Miss Amy Trahan following behind me. The one thing that I will tell you is that the one thing that I've heard from my teachers is there is an energy that I've never seen before. Our teachers are excited. Our teachers are excited for this new school year. And some of the testimonies that I heard that teachers actually conveyed over that I think every single board member needs to hear is that they've never seen professional development given to them as they have seen this year. They have seen an openness of other teachers wanting to share with them. And to me, that is so important. So I really want to commend our Assistant Superintendent, Ms. Janine LaFleur, and her team for what they are doing. We have another day of in-service that is going to continue to play in that same role. And again, this is what we are trying to do, not only in one school, but all 46 of our schools. So I want to commend Ms. LaFleur, her staff, along with all of the teachers that are out there getting professional development and making sure that we're getting ready for our students. Again, our students start next week at a staggered start on Wednesday. We will take in some on the Wednesday, we will take in some on the Thursday, and then the Friday, and the following Monday, all students will be in attendance. The last thing that I want to kind of talk about is my last visit was with Ms. Trahan, and we were at a meeting where parents were invited to one of our ACE schools in which they were explaining the actual ACE model that was adopted by the board, that in order for us to be able to make this happen, Mr. Nick Pugh, along with funds that are being generated, we were able to transform 2 of those schools. And the one thing that I am here proud to say is that from the actions that the board actually put in place, we have gotten the okay from the Nick Pugh Foundation that the monies will be delivered so that it will be able to be distributed to those individuals that are at those different schools to be able to function and to make sure to provide those services moving forward. So I'm really excited about that endeavor. I know that our academic folks are, because again, what we want to see is that every single one of our schools every student receives the quality education that he needs to. That concludes my comments.
Thank you, Superintendent. We'll move on to our information items. 2.1 was supposed to be our Mayor President here this evening. She can't make it, so we'll do that another time. We'll move on to 2.2, board meeting date change for December. Superintendent Touchette?
We're gonna go ahead and move that meeting to, I think it's the 18th, Ms. Gardner, is it?
11th.
The 11th, okay? And that is due to?
We finished up our district optimization, and we'll be doing some things with that.
That's right, for the district optimizations, so we can actually
So
coordinate that with the information that's going to be coming out to the public.
Thank you for that information. 2.3 is employee services. The Lafayette Parish School System's first cohort of Reach University graduates. Come on up.
Y'all can hear me?
Yes.
Hello, my name is Nikki Walker. I am the Diversity and Equity Talent Coordinator for Lafayette Parish School System. A big part of my job is recruiting teachers, but a big part of recruiting is not only just finding people jobs and trying to fill vacancies that we have. That's tough enough in itself because of the teacher shortage, but it's also about building the teaching profession and getting more people to go into this profession. In our district, we don't have to look very far because we have a lot of talent sitting here in our district in positions like paraprofessionals, clerical assistants, secretaries, and whatnot. So we have a whole lot of talent that's sitting in our classrooms right now, in our schools or in this building. And part of what I wanted to do is, and I'll Grow Your Own initiative, is to try to take some of that talent and see if I could convince some of those people to go into the teaching profession. And what I tried to do is find an avenue for them to do that. And this is where Reach University came into play for me. So I'm gonna stick to my script because if not, I talk a lot and I'll get off script and y'all probably throw me out. So 2 years ago, we partnered with Reach University, which is an accredited nonprofit institution offering job-embedded bachelor degree programs and teaching certificate to school employees, specifically paraeducators, but also for other employees in other positions in our district. It is a full-time online program which is built for working adults. Candidates even earn a few of their college credits by simply just going to work every day and working in an academic setting with students. Classes are scheduled in the evenings to accommodate their work schedules. With grants, this is one of the most impressive things that attracted me 2 years ago when I found out about the program. With grants, sponsorships, scholarships, Reach students pay no more than $75 a month for an education. And that's unheard of to get a college education. So I also want to say with that $75 a month tuition, which is $900 a year, we didn't have this in place last year, but I've been working with Latika McGee. I think Latika's here. I've been working with Latika McGee, and we just rolled out, kind of haven't made it too public yet, but it's making it public now. They were paying $75 a month, but we now have tuition assistance for these paraeducators or anybody in support positions that are going back to school and seeking certification. So they can get reimbursed just like teachers that we have working on certification. They can get reimbursed up to $1,000 a month. They can get paid for their practice exams if they pass the exams. So not only do they have this awesome program for $75 a month, but basically with the reimbursement program, they really can go to school for free and get their education and earn their bachelor's degree and then become teachers if they want to. I want to just tell you quickly just a little bit about the program. I won't go into detail, but just a little bit. Reach offers a 4-year teacher certification program where you can earn a bachelor's degree in global education along with certification in elementary education and SPED if you choose to add it on. So there's a 4-year program where you can receive total certification. And then for employees who come with credits already, such as an associate's degree, they can choose to go in the 2-year program. In the two-year program, they earn a degree, a bachelor's degree in liberal arts. But with that particular two-year program, you don't get full teacher certification. You graduate with a degree in liberal arts, and then you can choose to go on to alternative certification and get certified that way. Reach University has partnered with LRCE, which is an alternative certification company, I guess you can say, or organization in Baton Rouge. So they've made it very simple to where if you go into the two-year program, if you come with an associate's degree, it's going to take you 2 years to graduate and get a bachelor's degree. And then you can, in the fourth year of your semester, when you're finishing up with Reach, you just roll right into LRCE and you start your alternative certification. So it's a seamless transition. We currently have 70-plus employees that are in the program. Every semester, I'm out there recruiting more people to go into this program because for every person I recruit, at some point, they're going to become teachers, which is basically why we're here tonight, because I have my first 4 graduates tonight. Every semester, well, I said that, I continue to try to get people to get into the program. Today, I want to recognize my first 4 graduates that went into the two-year program. So they came with an associate's degree, and in May, they graduated with a bachelor's degree in liberal arts. 3 of them have decided to continue and get their teacher certification. 1 of them have decided that she wants to stay in her para role for just a little bit longer. I'm proud to say that the 3 people that have decided to go into alternative certification, they are currently teachers now. So they were paras last year, but they are currently teachers, and I'm going to introduce them shortly. So that's 3 more teachers that we have in the classroom that we wouldn't have had if it were not for Reach giving them this wonderful opportunity. So not paras anymore, they are teachers of LPSS this year, and I'll introduce them shortly. Before I introduce them, I want to introduce to you 2 people that are here on behalf of Reach University. One of them, her name is Amy Griffin. This is my contact at Reach. I bother her all the time, but I think we have a pretty good relationship. And the other person is Kimberly Eckert. She is the Dean of Teachers, the Teachers College at Reach University. So I'm going to ask them just to say a few little words, one of them, and then I'm going to introduce to you my 4 graduates of Reach University. And this is Amy Griffin, Kimberly Eckert. Yes.
Okay.
Gotta talk. I learned that last time I was here.
Former teacher of the year.
Oh, I've been outed. Hello. If I ever grow up, which I refuse to, I want to be just like Miss Nikki. We're so excited to be here, Amy and I, and everything that she's just described. For those of you who have never met, which is all of you, I'm from just down the road. So 16 years, I just finished in the classroom, West Baton Rouge, and still want to go back once we finish this pesky teacher shortage. I just want to go back to my classroom. But in the meantime, just know that we're so proud of what we're offering with Reach, and Reach was very smart. They put a teacher in charge. So everybody that comes through, it's from the spirit of professors of practice, of people who are in the classroom every day teaching these folks, because we know what it takes. We know how difficult it is to be a teacher, and we know that great teachers don't fall out of the sky. And so out of a time where there are so many teachers sadly exiting, you've got 4 people who are fighting to get in. And whenever I say the fight, full-time students, full-time employees, a lot of them full-time parents or grandmothers or caregivers, and we don't take it lightly that they entrusted their time with us. Just imagine working full-time, 15 hours a week, and still just getting the job done. So we're incredibly proud, and I'm going to turn it over to Amy so that she can tell you just a little bit more about the partnership, and then we can recognize and love on these 4 graduates who have worked so very hard to be here and to serve their community as teachers.
Thanks, Kim. So I was already in the South Louisiana area visiting some parishes that are also my portfolio. Lafayette's one of those. I'm actually from the Houston area. I just finished 2 years with Reach, so Nikki and I met each other about the time they started getting going. I was already warned about Nikki that she's feisty, and you better know what you're talking about when you work with her. So they were right, and it's been a wonderful partnership. I will tell you that Lafayette has the largest number of students enrolled at Reach in the area. There's some that are trying to catch up, but Lafayette is in position number 1 in the southern part of Louisiana. So very proud. It's really due to the work that Nikki's doing to ensure that these individuals, if you can imagine 75 in the program in a couple years, that could be 75 more teachers. So when I looked ahead, there are many more that are graduating this fall. We graduate twice a year. So each fall and spring semester, we'll be putting more people in the pipeline to put certified teachers in the classroom, which is wonderful. So I'm not going to take any more time because this is really about the graduates. I really appreciate Nikki giving us the opportunity to be here and speak on behalf of REACH. We're really happy with the partnership with Lafayette, and thank you all. Stay here.
And just one more time again before I introduce them, just know that over the last 2 years, I stay in touch with a lot of the candidates throughout the years, and a lot of them have told me, Miss Nikki, like, this is hard, like they've wanted to quit. They really wanted to quit. And of course, I have my pep talk with them, but it's been really hard for them having a full-time job and family and kids and whatnot, and still coming home and doing college work and doing Zooms and stuff like that. But I just want to say that they've made it, they're here, and I think now they realize that it was worth the hard work. So let me introduce them. I can take this off? Yeah. I feel like a rock star. The first person I want to introduce is, and you can come up here when I call your name, Jaleesa Anderson, was a para last year. Jaleesa is now, let me give you that. Jaleesa is now a SPED resource teacher at Bob Lilly Elementary School. So again, let's give her one more round of applause. Congratulations. The next person that I want to introduce is Kelly Burns. Kelly was a para at La Rosen, and Kelly is now a teacher at La Rosen. And I tell you, boy, Kelly loves La Rosen because we've been talking for over a year, and Kelly didn't want to work anywhere but La Rosen. She loves that school, and when I saw the referral come in for me to call and offer the job, I tell you, I was so excited. I told my coworker, Ms. Henry, I was like, no, I got to call her. I got to call her because I've been working with her. And I tell you, it just so happened, her birthday was the next day, and I called and offered her this job at La Rosen. And did I make your day, Kelly, or what? Shh. So she's so happy to be at La Rosen. We appreciate you, Kelly. Thank you. The next person I have is Amelie Addy. Amelie was a paraprofessional. Amelie is going to be a pre-K teacher at Alice Boucher Elementary. I think, Amelie, you got your job offer. I called you yesterday, and I tell you, did I make your day or what? This girl was so excited. We were excited together. I just couldn't wait to call him. And my last graduate is Miss Mary Dugas. Miss Mary is a paraprofessional at Northside High School. And Miss Mary says she loves her job so much at Northside. She's going to remain a para just a little bit longer because she loves it. But Miss Mary now has that bachelor's degree. So we want to give her a round of applause. So I just want to say thank y'all. We appreciate you. We see you. And I hope that you guys have an amazing year, and especially you guys are stepping into a whole new role, and it's up from here. That's it. So thank y'all so much.
Board members, picture.
Welcome to teacherhood. We'll take some pictures.
Take a picture of it.
Okay.
Yeah, I can push back just a little bit now, try and get Joanne. There you go. have to document it. Oh, absolutely. All right, we ready? 1, 2, 3. Got it.
On behalf of the board, congratulations. Next up is 2.4, it's facilities information item. Poche Pruitt and Associates LLC will be the architect for the following wing additions at LJ Alamo Middle School, Judy's Middle School, and Acadiana High School pending funding and approval by the board. 2.5 is finance. Notice of public meeting to announce intent to call for an election to authorize renewal or continuation of an ad valorem tax. I'll read the announcement, the public announcements, which I must do. Notice is hereby given that at its meeting to be held on Wednesday, August 21st, 2024 at 5 p.m. at its regular meeting place, the boardroom, 202 Rue Iberville, Lafayette, Louisiana, the Parish School Board of the Parish of Lafayette, State of Louisiana, plans to consider adopting a resolution ordering and calling an election to be held in Consolidated School District Number 1 of the Parish of Lafayette, State of Louisiana, to authorize the renewal or continuation of an ad valorem tax therein. With that being read and said, if you don't mind, I'd like to ask Mr. Robert to come up and maybe give us a little update on some of the things going on with facilities.
All right, thank you, Mr. President, Board, and Superintendent. Really enjoy being able to get up here every month and just give y'all an update on what we've been working on. So when it comes to facilities, maintenance, and construction, we've got a lot going on. To say our summer was busy wouldn't even come close to covering what happened. So I've got Mr. John Young is our maintenance manager, and Josh Fontenot is supervisor of construction and maintenance. Our phones are at 100% charge at 4 in the morning, and before noon they're dead. And these last few days it's been very hectic, but we enjoy doing it. Josh and I both come from being in the schools as teachers, coaches, so we know what it's like. So we're very happy to make these things happen for you. So there's no way we could take enough time to show you everything we've done this summer. So some of our construction projects we're going to go through. What I am working with Mr. Blaine and Ms. Tracy is to have pictures of everything we do posted on the website. So we're going to start having links on the website where you can see pictures of everything that we've done throughout the time, and we're posting it by month. So we're going to start off, we're doing a lot of things, just like Mr. Latchley just read, to approve for the renewal of a tax. We want to show people where your tax money is going. You see it in the product of the kids, but we want you to see in the facilities. Everything we do in facilities is with safety in mind, number one, and comfort. When you're in a school, you want to be comfortable and you want to feel safe, and that's how I want kids and teachers to feel. So things we're doing, Charles Burke. If anybody passed by Charles Burke, I got a text today from someone that was at a couple of these schools and said there's more construction going on in the district than there is in a DSLD construction subdivision. So, and it's true. Charles Burke, we just did some major renovations with painting, flooring in the school, major ceiling renovations, major drainage project there, and quite a bit going on at Charles Burke. Charles Burke and that group of schools, Burke, Galled, David Thibodeau, were all built around the same time. If y'all have been in those schools, they had carpet at one time. We're removing carpet and going back in with good luxury vinyl flooring, painting walls, making them look new and up to date. All right, next slide. Some more at Burke. So that's Burke, the flooring there. Anywhere you see this flooring was carpet before. And you know 25 years of carpet in a school with elementary kids. You can imagine what it was like before. So a much better look there of this new luxury vinyl flooring, and we're doing it in multiple schools. Next. Painting, so doors. We just did a lot of door projects, changed out doors, went to more secure doors at many schools across the district. So just picture some doors and some painting that we did at Corporal Middlebrook on College Saloon. Next. Some more Butler Building painting, exterior doors, new doors, much more secure, heavy metal doors, and have been painted also. This project, I wish we had some before pictures. We're not good at taking before pictures. We walk in, see what needs to be done, we do the work, and then wish we had pictures. So Barranco is very old school. We didn't want to go away from the traditional old wood look of what they had. So our carpenters, this was done in-house by our guys, went in and rebuilt this entire floor area, nice stain on it. If we had the before pictures to look at it, you wouldn't believe that we could have refinished it, but it looks great, looks good there. More painting, Butler Building, more doors. That stairwell at Barranco, so when you go up the stairs, that stairwell didn't look anything like that a few months ago. And one of the things that the principal, Ms. Otwell, wanted to do there, she came from a school that she had seen a safety issue. So if you look at the top of the stairwell, that wall was not there. She said a kid can walk up there and they could fall over the stairwell very easily. So we went in, built walls, had them painted, and just did some safety things. It takes a lot of eyes, and everybody's eyes in the school, when they see things, we take it into consideration, do what we can. So we did some upgrades and some good safety things there. Next. Again, at Barranco, went in, so we added security fencing around all of these campuses so that it's single point entries. We're building vestibules, and the safety emphasis. The other thing we're doing at a lot of schools, you see the picture on the right, lighting. A lot of our schools, it had a drab look, dark. We're adding LED lighting, changing lighting in many of our places to all LED, which does multiple things. One, it's bright. Number two, energy savings. We're looking at calculating the energy savings by going to LED, save about 30 or 40% when we finish this out on your electric. In the middle here, so this is in some of the classrooms. We went in and redid the countertops. The sinks that were there were some really old, heavy, dirty looking sinks that were corroded, changed it to some sinks. This is for smaller kids, so the sinks, I know Dr. Rabelais sent us a picture when he saw those little sinks, kind of laughing at it, but the bigger the sink, the more mess. So we went with the smaller sink. Small kids, they can't make as much of a mess if the sink isn't big. So that's kind of how we looked at it, and I think they're going to work. It's hard to tell there, but they're only about this high off the ground. So the kids are going to do well with that. Next. Evangeline, more painting. Painting, finishing on the doors. Did a great job of brightening up the hallways there. On the right side, we did that pavilion a few months ago. After the pavilion was built, it's way out there. Kids couldn't get to it, so we went in a couple of weeks ago, poured a concrete slab to get there so they don't have to walk through mud, and they can get there. At some point, we're going to put a walkway canopy over it also, so even if it's raining, they can still get out there. Those pavilions are being used not just at recess. They're using them for PEs. Classes are going out there during the day, so we want to be able to get them out there and have access to outdoor learning also. Green Tea Linden, this is new. I had never seen this in schools before. It's a miniature version of a rock climbing wall, added in a green tea. Another place had a lot of work going on this summer was green tea. New fencing in the front of Green Tea Linden secures the area. During the day, they use this area for PE, for outdoor activities, so it locks out that parking lot where it's a secure area during the day that kids can't go outside and do things. Added this and a safety entrance with an A-phone. New sign out in the front. We did quite a few signs across the district in the last few months also. Lighting, we just did a lighting project, changed every light in that campus. It didn't cost us a penny. We reached out, Public Service Commission had some funds in a grant. They did, is it 6 schools? 6 of our schools, the state funded to change every light to LED lighting in the district. So it was 6 of our Intergy schools. There's a program, if you're Intergy or CLECO, we don't have any CLECO. So all of our Intergy schools, we applied for it. They came in, they did 4. We were so good to work with, they gave us 2 more. We're trying to get Slimco to do the same thing. Right now, Slimco's not on the program, but we're going to get them there. Again, more doors, safety doors that we added in that can't break down. Green tea, we painted it. We painted the outside. So if you passed by green tea before, it had that gravel look. We painted it. It came out great. Looks like a nice new school there. J.W. Falk, this is another one I wish we had pictures before. That was some carpet that there's no telling how old it was. Pulled out carpet. When Miss Mesa started there, we asked, what can we do? Like, what's some things we can do? She said, let's clean the carpet. Well, looked at cleaning. We cleaned in some areas, but we went in, I think, 6 classrooms, changed out, put some luxury vinyl. On the right side, put a petition in. That petition took a year to come in from the day it was ordered, but we finally got it in and got it installed. Catherine Drexel, that front parking lot, we went in and put a paved lot. I don't know if there's going to be another picture to show it. We also went off of the front, so the lot kind of had some water issues. Mr. Hidalgo had talked to me about the water issues, so we came in, scraped the front, graded a little different, and seeded it, put grass there. So the front area of the school has a nice drive-through area, no mud, no water, and it's a nice new parking area. Along with their sign, they did get a new sign. We're going to have a new vestibule coming here around Christmas, and then we're going to repaint the front of the school after the vestibule. Another one at Drexel, a rider liner on the back that also serves as an area that kids they'll use it for kids for playing, and fencing there also. Y'all are going to see a board item come up in a few minutes about playgrounds. So if you look at this playground, you see edging around it and inside that mulch area. We're about to do a district-wide initiative to go to every playground and upgrade it with good edging, and Board of Health required minimum of mulch. You have to have 12 inches of mulch, 9 to 12 inches of mulch, so we're about to do a big upgrade on safety for playgrounds at all of our elementaries. Yep, so this is it. So this was after we graded that front area so the water would run off, and went ahead and hydro-seeded it so we can get some grass there pretty quick. Live oak, I love the floor of this one. So the flooring here, it's more of a home feel to it. Ms. Cantor picked the floor there. It's a wood grain vinyl floor. Again, this was all carpet areas before, so we went in and changed carpet and did a lot of painting there. I think we'll have some more painting pictures coming up. Nope. BO, 2 things at BO that happened. It's a new school, but even the new schools need some things. A little pavilion area for the kids, but we planted trees there, so there wasn't a whole lot of shade area. We did trees, and we actually did irrigation also, so trees and irrigation to keep the trees growing. Ridge, looks great. Paint job, we did a lot of painting. Like, I wish we had a couple of things, and we could. How many feet of fencing, how many feet of walkway canopies, and how many square feet of painting we did this summer. It was a ridiculous amount, and you can show, it shows. Woodvale, same thing, painting. We did a lot of painting at Woodvale. Woodvale just got a new pavilion right at the end of last year. We just did some fence work there, and we're doing a lot of tree work. So a lot of our things that don't really show when you look at it, we're doing tree work across the district. Anywhere there's trees that are touching buildings, touching roofs, or that do hindrance for safety issues, we're doing tree work. So Woodvale's probably having the most tree work done of all of our schools. Another shot of Woodvale from the back, looking out of the back, more paint work done there. Truman, we just built this a storage building. A lot of our schools didn't have storage buildings, or they had Connex boxes or old storage buildings that were falling apart with wooden floors. So we're doing an initiative. I think in the last few months we've probably done about 7 or 8 storage buildings on campuses where they can actually secure the things that they have, keep it out of the rain, and have some good high-quality storage. Acadian Middle, major project going there. So this is a vestibule window that we added in where it can be a no-contact entry. When visitors come in, they have to show their license, do things like that. It's a safety protocol. We did a painting initiative there like crazy. On the right side, the bathrooms, we went in and added a really high-power exhaust to pull air through those bathrooms for safety, for just airflow, cleanliness, keeping the bathrooms a little cleaner. Another one, we did all the lights, so this was an in-house job. We did the lights on this one ourselves, a little bit of contractor help, but we put LED lights throughout that school and also did a lot of painting there. Carencro Middle, walkway canopies. So that's just a picture of what our walkway canopies look like. And just to let you know, we like to take care of our kids, but on the right, what was going on there, that was an area the cafeteria workers were having to come out, and to get from that door down, they were having to carry the trash cans down. And I saw that, said, no, they need safety too, so we poured them a ramp. Cafeteria workers and janitors are really happy with that job. Edgar Morton, another one with a lot of painting, a lot of floor work, just redid the library there, walkway canopies. So imagine before, none of that was covered. Kids would walk, if it was raining, they were getting wet. We went in and added canopies at many places. Lafayette Middle Pavilion, we need to come back and pour concrete so they can walk to it, but that's another one of the outdoor pavilion classroom areas they can use. Paul Bro fencing, we went in, Paul Bro had a 4 and 5 foot fence before, we went in, pulled it down, put a good 6 foot fence around the entire area. And gym floor refinished and repainted, got it much looking up to date. And more walkway cover, same thing, all that was uncovered. Kids walked out there in the rain to go from class to class, so we're fixing that across the district. Youngsville Middle has 2 signs that were taken care of. Looks great. You pass in front of Youngsville now, you'll see this sign on the bottom, and up on the top of the school, you'll see another sign identifying what the school is. So some identification things. We want people to know that there are schools. Yep, same thing there. That's the other one. Acadiana High, turf fields. So we're going to have turf fields. We got a few schools. We got 6 in progress. We'll have 4 for this season. Acadiana High is the first one finished. The scoreboard was lit up last week. I didn't pick the name of the teams. I think Mr. Latchley did. But field looks great, and field looks great. It's going to be ready to play on for first game this year. Stadiums were washed. We went through and did pressure washing of the stadiums also. Fencing, this is Acadiana High between the school and the apartment complex behind. We went in and put a taller fencing there, did some drainage work and added fencing between the apartment complex and the field. Karen Crow High, same thing, field. David Thibodeau's flooring, same floor as Burke, so we did a major thing there, got rid of carpet. Como High, front of the school, nice new look on the front with their sign. And is that it? All right. Sorry it took so long, but we had a lot going on this summer. Thank y'all.
Thank you, sir. And that score to Acadiana, that was first half. There's a reason the home side has 3 digits and the visitor side only has 2. And the way I would have announced that on a Friday night is your wrecking Rams, 999, Lions, nothing. I don't say
Hey,
0.
point of order.
I didn't say Lafayette High, I just said Lions. You're implying it may be Lafayette High. That doesn't mean that. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll now move on to the consent agenda. I will read the items on the consent agenda. Any item a board member wants pulled, we'll pull. If not, we'll vote them in globo. You can speak for or against any item during public comment. It is not question and answer. It's you come up and you can speak whether you're for or against. Remain on topic. Remain on the agenda item. Let us know which agenda item, and this will help the meeting go a lot smoother. I will read the agenda items. Any board member wants anything pulled, please let me know. 3.1 is administration, discussion on or action concerning an amendment to the Lafayette Parish school system of the elementary, middle, high school, consequences of behavioral policy, Appendix F, for possession of unauthorized technology, electronic devices that are prohibited on campus, and the confiscation portion of the student code of conduct. 3.2 is administration, discussion, and or action concerning a proposed new job description template, updates or changes in current job descriptions, and new job descriptions. 3.3, administration, selection of the group health insurance and related benefits consultant.
Pull it.
3.4, employee services, discussion and action concerning revision to the 2024-2025 salary schedule. 3.5, employee services, discussion and action concerning the revision to the supplemental pay rate section of the 2024-2025 salary schedule for teacher, substitute, bus drivers, supplemental pay. 3.6, employee services, discussion and action concerning a one-time recruitment retention stipend for the 2024-2025 school year for school psychologists, pupil appraisal services. 3.7, facilities, discussion and action to allocate funds from the committed for roofing projects account within the self-funded construction fund for the parish-wide roofing strategic analyst project to address any immediate roofing problems and possible future roof replacements. That was a mouthful. 3.8, facilities, discussion and or action to allocate funds from the COVID contingency account within the self-funded construction fund for parish-wide playground safety upgrades to keep Lafayette Parish compliant with the state code regulations. 3.9, facilities, discussion and or action to enter into a cooperative endeavor agreement with Sun Cheeto for the old Truman Elementary School. Did I say that right, Mr. Edmond? Thank you. 3.10, finance, discussion or action concerning the Louisiana Compliance Questionnaire for fiscal year 2024. 3.11, discussion and action concerning the July budget to actual revisions for 23-24 fiscal year. 3.12, risk management, discussion and or action concerning revisions to policies GAMA, employee smoking, tobacco, and marijuana use, IDFA, interscholastic athletics, IDE, co-curriculum activities and extracurricular activities, EB, building and grounds management, IDCH, home study program, JGCE, child abuse, JCDAE, student use of electronic telecommunication devices, and JBD, student absences and excuses. 3.13, warehouse, discussion and action concerning online auction of surplus equipment and supplies. 3.14 is discussion and action concerning the minutes of May 22nd, 2024, June 12th, 2024, and July 19th, 2024. And 3.15 is approval of all action consent items. Board members, I'd entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to approve all items not pulled.
I'll second.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Mason, a second by Mr. Bergeron, that we approve all items not pulled. Is there any public comment on any item not pulled? If so, please come to the podium and state which item it is. You will have 3 minutes. Please start the clock.
Yes, sir, I'm speaking on 3.6, and, okay, and that one is, I wanted to talk to, months ago, I was at a school board meeting, and you were discussing that you and the federal government are going to hire a bunch of school psychologists to flood the schools with all kinds of counselors. Since when did our schools turn into psychiatric mental health clinics? A school day should consist of learning, extracurricular activities, and going home. Are these psychologists going to appraise every child that enters the school system? Or are you going to require that each child take a mental aptitude test? These tests that are inaccurate at best, casting a big net where every child is branded with a mental deficit. It's disgusting that our children are labeled with a wide variety of mental health diagnoses. The list of the potential mental illnesses are longer than a yardstick, strictly because the psychiatric industry made them all up. The federal government and the psychiatric industries, with big evil pharmaceutical at the helm, are labeling, hurting, and drugging our children with toxins. When we were in school, there was none of this. It's a disgrace. I was at Northside High for the community outreach meeting, and there was a sign referring students to a doctor and another sign telling children what ADHD looks like. This is a power of suggestion on young, vulnerable minds, feeding them to the pharmaceutical industry, making children feel as if there's something wrong with them. These psychiatric clinics, these doctor office clinics, and these medicinal dispensaries in our schools needs to stop. Can we please go back to math, science, English, PE, and history only? It was absolutely repugnant to me. I can't fathom how we have all allowed this to become perpetrated on our children, and we call it the norm in a school day. If we had Jesus' prayer and the 10 Commandments in school, we wouldn't have this problem to begin with, and we all know this. We can't have religious clergy and Christian counselors on our grounds. That's bad, but we're allowed toxic pharmaceuticals and counselors and psychologists around our children. That's good, right? Like I said, it's a disgrace that our schools have come to this, drugging, labeling, and harming our children for big pharmaceutical. Thank you.
Any other public comment on items not pulled? Come on up, young lady. You have 3 minutes. Please state which item you're speaking on.
I'm speaking on 3.12. Is it not? Thank you. 3.12, risk management, specifically about the student absences. I understand that some of the language was changed based off of the Louisiana Handbook for School Administrators. So I see why some of the language was changed, but I still find it to be really confusing. The non-exempt language was taken out, but that was the only opportunity for a parent to write a written excuse if a student is at home sick. Right now, I am not clear on whether that is still a possibility. The way it's phrased is excused absences, absences which are not considered for purposes of truancy, comma, including absences incurred due to extenuating circumstances. And then it goes on to explain some of the extenuating circumstances. But I don't know if that means that any absences outside of those extenuating circumstances would be considered. I know for my kids, the vast majority of their illnesses are viral. There is no point to bring them to a doctor. But if they're vomiting, I don't want to bring them to school either. And right now, the way the system has worked is to almost encourage parents to do that, because if I send my kid to school and he throws up, then it's going to be excused if they send him home. But if I just keep him home because I know he's sick and I don't bring him to a doctor, it won't be excused. I just feel like it creates a lot of confusion. And then it goes on to explain the extenuated circumstances, but a lot of them say extended personal illness. I don't really know what is meant by extended for a lot of this language. And the only other thing that I wanted to bring up is that it'll say that the truancy office has to contact you, or actually it says a principal of the school has to contact you after 3 unexcused absences. But how do you know if it's unexcused if you're already contacting them when they're possibly still homesick, which happened to me? The truancy office sent me a threatening letter when my child was still homesick, and you're given 5 days to turn in a school excuse. She hadn't even gone back to school yet. So I just feel like a lot of this isn't handled right if we're supposed to be trying to prevent truancy and also to accurately report truancy. I feel like it's not getting accurately reported at this time if it's counting kids who are homesick but not going to the doctor. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Any other public comment on items not pulled? Seeing and hearing none, any board comment on any item not pulled? Mr. Hidalgo?
Got a couple of items, but I'll go ahead and start with 312. Pretty long list of policies all in one bundle. And so I guess, I mean, I don't want to go through them one at a time, but I guess maybe we can just address the one that was just discussed on the absences and the truancy. Can we get some clarification on that? And then also, again, I mean, look, I know we had some legislation, we had a lot of changes, and it affected a lot of our policies, but geez, this is a pretty heavy list for one agenda item, just my opinion for future reference. But can we get some clarification?
Yeah, so hi, Jennifer Gardner. It is a long list, but it is a long list that the majority of them, and Ms. Desiree is here also, that coincide with the acts of the legislation that happened through the session. So the tobacco, the athletics, all those were vetted by Mr. Hammonds and his law firm. So those are there. The absence, the reason that was being updated, Bulletin 741 was updated a couple of days ago with the change in absence. So we went from the non-exempt and that was removed. And so the new language is in here. And, but even on the non-exempt, and Dr. Moore is here also, if it needs further clarification, the non-exempt still went against you as the 10 days. So it was not an unlimited, even when the parent wrote the note. The only time the unlimited was when it was on a doctor's letterhead or sent to the school. Does that help?
Yes, can a parent still write the note?
Absolutely. The parents can still write the note, but it does go against their 10 days.
Yeah, it doesn't count.
3.1, if we can get, not clarification, but just maybe verbally stress what we're amending here, or adding, rather, regarding the, I'm trying to get the number, I'm sorry, but basically electronic devices.
So, Mr. Hidalgo, at our last board meeting, you guys adopted that the communication agenda item. The one thing that we felt that we needed to add was that it did not go beyond the third offense, and we needed to add a fourth and a fifth offense so that we would wear out any gray area to where we can make sure that we have some consistency from one school to another. And we got that feedback from our administrators, and we really needed to make sure that that was defined. The second thing was there was much question about where can kids actually carry these cell phones if they're on the off position and still have them. We have defined the stowaway as where it's not on the persons. It has to be in a bag, and it has to be something that is turned off during the school day. So those two pieces were key to really trying to make this airtight so that we can, as all of you stated, make sure that we have consistency from one school to the other. So that was key. This is just kind of putting a bow on top of this just to make sure that we are ready to start the school year.
Ms. Mason?
I know that there was some, just discrepancy in what was having a cell phone on you or having it on campus. And I reached out to some of our state legislators, and actually spoke with Blake Miguez today, and he emphasized that their intent was to not have a cell phone present during the day of instruction. So any instructional time, there should be no cell phones on them. And I talked about the ambiguous language, and Blake is a attorney, and so he did not see any issue with it, and he said it's obviously for no cell phones during the instructional time of a school day. So I appreciate that clarification from him.
Mr. DeZarmo?
I just want to make the comment also. I'm with Hidalgo, which doesn't happen all the time, but about that the absentee, because it is a big deal, and I've heard my wife talk about it because she works in the office, and so she enters that information. So it's actually a good point. If you got to school and you threw up, they'll send you home, totally excused. But if you just took the initiative right off the bat and said, you know what, he's not going to make it through the day, I'm going to keep him home. I guess what I want to say is we're going to dig into that. We're going to make sure that we get the clarification. If that didn't answer your question, we'll keep going until we get you the clarification. Most of the rules are put in place for the right reason. It's just, like I had a late parent got mad because they kept calling her house whenever her kid missed. Well, it's an automated system. It doesn't even come from anybody. So we try to do better, and we try to fix it, but as Jeremy asked, I'm kind of in the same boat. We maybe need to kind of dig into that a little bit just to make sure.
Mr. Lejeune?
Yes, sir. We're adding a fourth and a fifth consequence. Could you explain to us what the fourth and the fifth consequence is?
So it'd be 1 to 3 days of out-of-school suspension. Again, the phone be taken away. And the next one would be 1 to 3. And again, that would be, according to state law, the third out-of-school suspension where we have to recommend for expulsion.
Any other board comment?
Yeah.
Mr. Bergeron?
Mr. Gotro, 3.8, can you describe some of the safety features?
So the playgrounds?
Yeah.
So we get inspected by Board of Health on our playground equipment, and they have set guidelines of what playground equipment has to have. So we just did, had a company that comes in at no charge, did an analysis of the whole district of every piece of playground equipment. They gave us a price on what they said it would take for them to get us up to code, $1.2 million. we looked at that and figured out what we can do ourselves. And the biggest part of it is removing some equipment that is outdated. But the bigger part was building up edging. We need a minimum of 8 inches of edging around the playground and 9 to 12 inches of mulch. It's similar to the mulch you have in your flower beds. So we put numbers together to figure out what we could do it for, and we're asking for money here. What are we asking? Around 400,000? 400,000. So instead of hiring a company, which is what a lot of people would do, we're just asking to give us the money. We're going to make it up to date. We've kind of walked the district with the Board of Health. They've been very lenient because we're all new in this department. They're working with us. So we're just asking for the money to get up to date, and we're going to use local people. In the past, it was a company out of Texas that was doing everything. Everything here is going to come out of Lafayette.
Thank you.
Mr. DeZarmo? You good? Okay. Ms. Trahan?
I'd just like to say to the communication staff and the superintendent, all the communication on social media that has been pushed out is really impressive, and I appreciate that, the information about the new policies, all the updates. And I would just ask that we continue that throughout maybe the first quarter, not just stop it, a couple of weeks into the school year, but I have appreciated that. And I see lots of schools, reposting and sending it out myself on social media. So I just want to say thank you all for doing that.
Thank you, ma'am. Any other board member comment? Hearing none, Madam Secretary, I'll call for the vote.
Eight for, none against.
Motion carries. The only item pulled was 3.3, Administration, Selection of the Group Health Insurance and Related Benefits Consultant. Mr. Hidalgo, you pulled that?
No, I pulled it.
Oh, Mr. Bergeron.
I'm here.
You here? It sounded like Mr. Hidalgo.
Oh, no.
I had my head
That's
down.
two-
I'm sorry.
That's two this meeting.
That's two.
No, I'd like to make a motion that we table 3.3 until the next school board meeting.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'd like to make a, oh wait, no, I'd like to make a substitute motion.
Let's wait until we get a second.
All right.
There is no second, Mr. Bergeron. Your motion will fail. Ms. Mason?
I want to follow correct procedure. Do we need to let the superintendent speak first, or can I make my motion?
We have to have a motion
Okay.
on the floor and a second.
All right, I'd like to make a substitute motion to recommend hiring Assured Partners as our consultant.
We have a motion by Ms. Mason. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. DeZarmo. So we have a second and the motion is that we hire Assured Partners
Assured Partners.
as our group health insurance and related benefits consultant. We have a second by Mr. DeZarmo. Do we have any public comment on this item?
Good afternoon, school board members. I wanted to talk to y'all about the insurance for our teachers because we love our teachers, and we all know that so-say healthcare in America is kind of like death care. It is a system that creates illness with the poisoning of our food, water, soil, and air, and then it's treated with drugs and then other symptoms, causing other symptoms. A scientist said that when you look at a pharmacy, that only 5% of the medicine actually works. I hope and I pray that your plan you'll pick for our beautiful teachers in one that pushes bad medicine and toxic bioweapon mRNA spike protein creating deadly vaccines. I've worked in a public school in Lafayette, and one day the flu vaccines were given out on a school day. On a school day. I found this disturbing because school is not a doctor's office. It is a place for teachers to teach and students to learn only. At least that's what I thought.
You're not speaking for or against the actual...
No, I'm recommending something
Well...
because I care about the teachers and I have a right to talk about the insurance plan.
No, you don't. we have a motion that we approve Assured Partners. Are you for or against Assured
I'm for
Partners?
the teachers getting good health care, and there's Christian health care groups out there.
Ma'am, for or
So that's
against?
just what I wanted to say, sir. Is
For
to
or
look
against?
into those.
We don't need going off to the left or the right. Stay
Well, no, it's
centered.
not the left or the right, it's the truth. And there's just good health care plans that I wanted to recommend that you look into.
Are you?
I'm for teachers having good benefits, yes, sir.
Then-
I'm against teachers being in America's health care system. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, it's for or against the item placed, not left or right. Sorry, but that's just the way it goes. Is there any other public comment? I'll now ask for board comment.
Yeah.
I'll start on this side. Mr. Hidalgo?
Yes, we had a committee meeting, board insurance committee meeting, where we heard from 6 companies who submitted an RFP, RFQ, pretty lengthy process. We spent a few hours here hearing their presentations. Subsequently, we decided to allow the superintendent, or we didn't say allow, we asked the superintendent to go through what, for lack of a better term, we're going to call a second round of interviews, where he and some of his team sat down and were able to ask questions to each one of those individual companies who presented. We have not had a follow-up board insurance committee meeting because those presentations took place this week, and there was not time to do so. With that said, I can't understand how we have a motion on the floor at all because we haven't heard from the superintendent's follow-up meetings with these companies, and at this time I'd like to ask the superintendent to weigh in on that.
All right, I'll answer the question. So, as Mr. Hidalgo stated, we had these 6 interviews with the Board Insurance Committee, and then we were asked as a team to go back and have a second round. And I will tell you that it was Monday, and it took all day to do such a thing. And it was a question and answer. It was an opportunity for my team to be able to look at what best fits for us to get ourselves out of this situation. All I can say to you is that, you know, there were 6 great presentations that were given, but when it's all said and done, we have to decide on a person or a group of people to be able to come in and do something to help us with the situation. So my recommendation for this particular is going to be with Gallagher. Gallagher was the group that I felt had the manpower, that had what it needed to as far as getting in there and digging in, and really a group that I felt comfortable to where it's going to rest on my shoulders. If you guys go with this, it's going to rest on me, and it's going to rest on our team. And I don't have anything against Assured. I don't have anything against Brown & Brown or whoever else. Everyone did an excellent job of presenting what they needed to. But when it's all said and done, I have to have a team of people that are going to work with these individuals and make sure that we're not back in this boat again next year at this time. And there's going to be some tough decisions. So, Mr. Hidalgo, that's my recommendation. This board, you make the decisions. You make the decisions moving forward. So you can make a decision on these 6. You can make a decision on anyone else outside of these 6. You don't have to necessarily go. And again, I have nothing against Assured. I have nothing against anything. But, you know, I really had this on my shoulders, and it was on my conscience that I had to really look at this and just say, who is going to be that person that I feel that's going to get us out of this bind that we're in.
Thank you. I still have the floor, if that's okay. So, you know, of course, being on the committee, I was part of that first go-round of ours, and subsequently, you know, got to hear further question and answers. Personally, I know people at several of the companies who presented. Several, meaning 3 of them. I know personally, I know folks at 3 of the different companies. This is not going to be fun. This is not going to be easy. It's going to be, you know, pretty cool to add to a portfolio for whoever gets the business, and I appreciate that, but it's not going to be pretty cool because what we're going to have to do is make some serious, tough decisions moving forward. With that said, you have stated several times, not only in board meetings before, not only tonight, but in the board insurance committee meetings, that you are going to be the one who's going to be taking responsibility of the outcome of this relationship. So with that said, I have no choice but to honor your recommendation, and I want to make a substitute motion that we retain Gallagher as our consultant for the board, for the insurance consulting services.
We have
And I'll second it.
Okay, we have a substitute motion by Mr. Hidalgo, seconded by Mr. Lejeune, that Gallagher be chosen as the consultant. Is there any public comment on Gallagher being the Ms. Motz?
I'm confused. So you have two motions on the floor for two different companies at this point. I guess my concern is those of us who've come to all of these meetings and all of the board insurance committee meetings have expressed our concern of wanting a choice. And at the last board insurance committee meeting, Mr. Hidalgo had a series of questions for all of the people who are proposing. And one of them was, and it was a significant question for us, was can you, to all six, can you find a way to deal with the risk of retirees?
Ms. Motz? could you
I'm
get-
sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a terrible cold.
That's okay. Do you need something to drink?
No, I'm okay. Can you deal with the risk of retirees without doing the mass migration, which is what we all had requested? All of them indicated that they could. The major ones did. I'm not sure about the one Miss Mason supported. I have my notes. I know Gallagher did, Lockton did. Maybe Mr. Hidalgo remembers. But that would be my biggest concern. This is the second time I've done this. That we make sure that whatever choice you all make, that the options are there for retirees. And the reason that's so important is because Medicare Advantage, once you're there, if you have to get off of Medicare Advantage because your doctor's gone or for whatever reason, then you have to go through medical underwriting. There's a penalty if you get off Medicare Advantage to go on to Medigap or to a supplement plan. And that's crucial for retirees, most of whom have significant health care problems. So that is the reason it's important. I hope both of them that you all have proposed consider that as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Motz. Any other public comment? Hearing none. Any board comment?
I have a comment.
Ms. Mason?
All right. So I would ask my fellow board members to vote down the substitute motion that's on the floor right now. I've been on this insurance committee for 5 years. This is my second term. I was assigned to the insurance committee again. All of the companies that have applied to be our consultant are well qualified. I know that our superintendent feels that it rests on his shoulders, but honestly, I believe that this rests on my shoulders and everyone sitting up here. We are responsible for the taxpayers' money. And as a school board member, not only are we responsible to our constituents, we're responsible to our teachers, our employees, our retirees, and we're responsible to providing a best education and future for our students. I have done so much research on all of the companies. I've read their proposals from front to back. For me, because the reason I recommended Assured Partners is that they are the most local to me. I understand that Brown & Brown has 42 local employees, and Assured Partners has 40. They have 2 more. We appreciate y'all. But I chose Assured Partners because they have been the most visible to me in the community. I think that they are risking their personal reputations coming into this consultant role. If the public had not noticed, our past consultant group did not even bid on this again. There's so many reasons that are hard to convey on this board floor, but I assure you that I have picked the best that I could imagine for this huge, huge, important issue for Lafayette Parish. We're in an insurance crisis nationwide, and I truly believe Assured Partners will do the very best job for us at this time. So I would appreciate my fellow board members voting down this substitute motion on the floor.
Thank you, Ms. Mason. Mr. Hidalgo?
Thank you. Much like my colleague, Ms. Mason, I too have served 5 years on the Board Insurance Committee. Of course, not the previous term, but prior to. Not only have I done a large amount of research on this topic over those 5 years, but I spent time in the insurance business, so I understand it. And still, today, I'll tell you that I couldn't do the job of any one of these consultants who came to the table. There's so much to know about this industry. I want to say very respectfully that I think that most of us up here probably don't know anything about this industry, yet we are making a decision on who is going to lead the fix to our problems for an $80 million fund. Think about that, guys, $80 million. And I do understand and respect Ms. Mason's perspective that we're ultimately responsible, but everything we do here leads back to that we've hired a superintendent, and we have to hold him accountable for administering the decisions we make. I'll ask you to support this substitute motion because the superintendent is the one who is going to be dealing with this consultant on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, bringing back recommendations on the decisions we're ultimately going to have to make. As I stated, I know folks at least 3 of the companies, so it's very difficult to stand up here, sit up here, and make a recommendation. I wish we could hire the 3 that I want, all 3, but we can't do that. And so I hope that we can all honor our superintendent. We've hired him, we've given him a job. We're responsible for making the ultimate decision, but he's responsible for educating us so that we can make the best decision. So for that, I hope you can support this substitute motion, honor his request, and then let's get to work effective tomorrow because we have a huge mountain to climb.
Any other board member comment? Mr. Bergeron?
Here's my concern. I would have hoped that we would have had a consultant as part of the agenda item to vote on, either through the superintendent or through the insurance committee, whomever, it doesn't matter. And I don't have anything against any of the insurance people. I listened through both that meeting twice just to make sure I had a full grasp of what was going on. I know further discussions were going on. I would have preferred that we had either some idea of which consultant we had decided on as part of the agenda item. That's why I wanted to pull it. I wanted to make sure that we are all aware, including the public, of who was the possible consultant so we can have discussion over that.
Thank you. Any other board comment? Other board comment? Madam Secretary, I'll call for the vote on the substitute motion.
Five for, 3 against.
Substitute motion carries. Gallagher will be the group health insurance and related benefits consultant that will begin working with the Lafayette Parish School System. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to conclude our consent agenda. We have litigation. Mr. Hammonds, can you direct me on this one? We have 6 different litigations we have to discuss. Can we go into special session in Globo on these, or do we have to do them one at a time?
No, you can go into executive session for all 6. You just need to list the items before you go in.
Okay. I entertain a motion that we go into executive session on items 4.1 to 4.6. Could I get a motion, please?
I move.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Hidalgo and a second by Ms. Mason that we go into executive session to discuss 4.1, 4.2, 4.3, 4.4, 4.5, and 4.6. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed? Go into special session.
I don't know, a lot of trauma. I felt like it was a pageant, like, okay, but. Thank you. Is this yours? Oh, wow. Nice, you can see the process, huh? Exactly. Well, great. What'd you do?
I broke my elbow from throwing for baseball.
Throwing?
Yeah,
Been tracking out, huh? Wow. When do you get it off? Okay. Well, great. Almost there, huh? Good. Yeah, tomorrow. Yes, we have to get to work. Thank you.
What his reasoning was.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey. So, hi.
You can. We do have an expulsion hearing, and we don't know whether it'll be public or private. And then we're working, we're into those updates on that right now. Okay. So, this litigation will not take long. There's 6 items. It's pretty quick. It's a lot of workers' comp issues. Okay. So we kind of run through it really quick. So things should come on it. So, I will, but y'all more than welcome to. They will tell you if it's public or private. They'll ask you to step out. So, yeah, we will. We just don't know yet. Okay. Great.
I'm gonna use the restroom.
Oh, really? Oh, so she probably knows me. Oh, absolutely. Yes. You know her. Oh, yeah. She Miss Gardner.
But Bob is in litigation, so I can't ask him. Yep.
Oh, that's my name.
Yes, I was there from 2000 to 2011.
She was in the Butler building.
Right when you left my classroom, you went out, she was right there to the second row to the right.
I told her.
I see her,
said-
okay, all the time. And she does some extra work for us still.
Yeah, she works at SJ. She tutors.
Yeah, she does. I saw her last spring, but yeah, actually, her daughter had left by the time I was the cheerleader spot.
Yeah, her daughter's at LHS.
Yeah, her daughter's at
You know, her grandson just started.
I talked to her. I had him at Alcohol.
Oh, he's at Alabama right now.
That was my stomping ground for 8 years.
Where did
I'll remind you of this. I don't know if you've ever been to LPSB. Welcome aboard.
Hi, Dory.
Okay, I heard that you met today, according to Miss Melody.
Yes,
You must be.
That's Reese.
Nice to meet you. I'm Trish.
He's a student. He's a student.
Okay, that's awesome.
You can check it all out, see how it goes, so.
Okay, God.
Well, he's been here before.
Bless you with the holy water.
He's part of LJ's beta. So they came, they got recognized right before school.
I would remind
Hear your voice out there. Can hear y'all's conversation.
The one thing I'm a decision maker. They don't realize I'm like moving my toes. But what grade do you have? Okay, Mom said you do drama or band, or what do you do at LJ? That's a good school. You know Miss Nikki who got up there that someone would take the mic away from her? She used to be a teacher at LJ Alamo. She won Teacher of the Year a couple of years in a row. That's why people were like, hey, somebody needs to grab the mic. But no, that's awesome. That's great. See how it all works, huh? That's awesome.
So, tomorrow, we're going to get to
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so I saw the letter. You replied back to my letter. You didn't see any issue with what I'm going to send out first thing in the morning because I got to go to first thing in the morning.
Speaking of that, Angie.
New hire orientation. It doesn't matter. We're going, Lafayette Middle doors open at, we're lower on the agenda too. I think Tamara's actually speaking tomorrow, but I'm actually supporting. I did the 250 orientation about a week ago. So we call this all the other openings. But doors open 7:30, but we don't come on board till at least 5 or 10. And we typically non-stop talk for about an hour. I mean, I can. Oh yeah, that might be helpful. So auditorium, as soon as you technically come in the front of the school, likely there will be 100, HR's telling me about 150 new hires. So there's parking in the rear. So if you come in the rear, you will have to go through the back door and in, down the hall and into the auditorium is where everyone will be. The last one, we pull up the cover for the teachers. It's an all-day affair just because it's numerous things that we're discussing. While others don't need all the extra that the teachers do. So this one's like a half. Do I look like a teacher? I can go to the agenda.
Oh, you're not Oh, thanks for you. You're not charging the security in school, huh? I went to Karen Pro High, and I got so nervous, I got so upset, sir. It's like juvenile hall. Our children have so much security, it's great. It's like a slave training camp, it is, because they have gated. Yeah, it's gated. And then only that, they're allowed in, they're training with a medical detector. And then after that, there's a police on the premises. Then after that, there's cameras in the hall. And then after that, there's a clear bag policy. Don't you think that's overreach? Well, no, sir, a lot of those children are on psychiatric medicine, they have a zero drug policy.
Oh, yeah, no,
They'll ask you to know who you are, and of course, it's the children. They I've worked in the public school, and they pass them out as a doctor's prescribed. So those are okay. They have suicidal tendency, violent behavior side effects, toxic chemicals, crime, altering. So, street drugs are allowed in, pre-pharmaceutical drugs are allowed in. And I tell the school board, the only people that should have medicine on campus is somebody with the EpiPen or somebody with diabetes. And so, all the schools talk about they're hot double in that stuff. Our students are people are right. Because we don't like security.
But our email is
Mr. President, I make a motion, we go back into regular session.
We have a motion, do I have a
I'll second.
second? We have a motion by Mr. Hidalgo, second by Mr. Edmond, that we go back into regular session. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? We're now back in regular session. I will now entertain a motion on the litigation items. Mr. Hidalgo?
Mr. President, I move that we accept the recommendations of council on agenda items 4.1, 4.2, 4.3, 4.4, 4.5, and 4.6.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Trahan, that we accept council's recommendation. Madam Secretary, I'll call for the vote. Or we can do a voice vote, either way.
Unless you want to separate them.
8 for, none against.
Motion carries. Number 5 is an expulsion appeal, 5.1 student expulsion appeal. Or will this be a public appeal or private? Mr. Hammonds?
Mr. President, members of the board, I've been informed, the father's been here for quite a while, sitting through the meeting, but he did not have his son with him for the appeal. It's my understanding that the father has now left the building to try to find the son to get him back here in time for the appeal. So he's been here for quite a while, but he's not here presently.
Okay.
We have no way of knowing for sure whether he will return tonight.
Staff is saying no, he's not outside. Okay, we'll go ahead and bypass the expulsion appeal. If they want, I guess they can come back at another time. With that being said, this meeting is now adjourned.